Hey Flyer fans, so we are at UD Arena wrapping up an awesome season and what saw 77 sellouts, and now we don't take a break. Executive Director at UD Arena, Scott Debolt, joins me. I guess before we talk about the madness and what starts with March Madness, let's go back on this past year. How was the season and another one in the books for women and men's basketball?
Yeah, no, it was another great year for Flyer athletics on the basketball side here at UD Arena. We had great crowds, saw some unbelievable games. The men's non-conference schedule was one of the strongest ones we've had in years in doing that. So having those type of crowds and that type of atmosphere is always fun to experience and provide for our fans.
It was quite the finish, and looking back to Tuesday, last Tuesday against St. Louis. And that victory. For you and your team and your crew, does the season go fast or slow?
This year went kind of fast in doing that, and we had more games than we normally had. So the non-conference probably was a little bit slower because there was more non-conference games than we normally have. But once you hit conference play, it seems to fly by every year. I think it's just the anticipation of getting to March.
Talking about this building, which has so much history for March, if you can you give our fans sort of a perspective of what it's like in your position for game day?
Yeah, so March every year is a little bit different depending on how many games we're playing between the end of the regular season for the men's and women's program, high school, sectional, district, regional, and then we get to the state games, the first four, and for example, last year we had 43 basketball games in 23 days in the month of March. This year we only have 20 and 12. So 20 and 12 still quite a few and all that, but they're marquee games with the reorganization of OHSAA to 7 divisions. We weren't able to host as many sectional and regional games as we have in the past, but we're concentrating on those OHSAA and March game and first 4 games.
I'm sure it does make things a little bit easier. And what we saw of last game for Dayton,
yep,
and that Tuesday showcase against St. Louis to where we're going now,
yep.
Is it fair to say that you've gotten more time than what you've had here in a long time?
We have. It's always been a quick transition because, again, we transformed the building for the OHSAA Girls and Boys State Championship to the first 4 setup before. So they get to experience the exact same setup that those 8 teams that come in for the NCAA first 4. The same large press conference area with the big dais, the locker room setup, the court setup, the media setup and all that. So it's that big time feel for the high school state championships.
Yeah, and I want you to maybe go into that a little bit in detail because people see what the floor looks like, mm-hmm, but there's so much action and there's the transformation that happens behind the scenes. I mean, it is extensive.
Yeah. So for example, for this year, for the girls tournament, we'll have the games on Friday and Saturday, 3 games on Friday and 4 games on Saturday. And then Sunday, Selection Sunday, we start the transformation for the first 4. So we start first thing in the morning, we take out our court, we bring in the NCAA first 4 court, we flip the benches, we flip the press row and do that. We put up all the NCAA signage, do that, and then we sit around and we wait for those announcement at 6 o'clock and find out the 8 teams that are coming here. And then we got open practice on Monday night, open practice on Tuesday noon, and then the doubleheaders on Tuesday and the doubleheaders on Wednesday, and the teams head out. And then Thursday, we do the reverse of that, and we pull out the NCAA floor, we put in our court, take down all the signage, put all the OHSAA stuff back up, and then we got 3 games on Friday and 4 games on Saturday for the boys state tournament.
My, and it is a blur. And from the start all the way to the finish, I'm sure it feels fast, but does it also feel like the longest week of the year?
It does. It's long days and short nights and doing that. But again, that's what we do. UD Arena was built for the community and to be used by the community. And we have such a rich history of a strong fan base here, not only locally for the state championships, but statewide and nationwide for the first four and everything. So there's just so much pride that we take in hosting that every year. And again, we've hosted more NCAA tournament games than any other building in the country.
And now, and being the home to the OHSAA state finals, and what used to be the semifinal, and we'll sort of see how that all plays out moving forward. But how has that relationship been?
Yeah, and again, I've had a relationship with OHSAA since almost 2000 when I was with the crew and hosted state soccer championships there. So I've known those folks for years. I know what they like and how it operates, and we were fortunate during COVID. The opportunity came up for us to be able to move the girls and boys state championship from Columbus to Dayton, and so we took that opportunity. And that first year was a little rough because it was the first year out of COVID, and we only had 1,500 fans for the games. But since then, we've been able to have a 3-year run of that, and we've just extended that for another 4 years, and having that relationship, and the fans love it. The students are right on top of the action and everything, and that's what I think the OHSAA and the teams and the fans that come here really enjoy about having it here.
As the boys cut down the nets and that season comes to a close in basketball, things, as you'd think, would sort of slow down. Not the case. WGI is on the horizon, and from what we experience in March, WGI looking towards the spring, that is another event that is right there on that level.
Oh, absolutely. It is WGI. It's the largest economic impact event that happens in Southwest Ohio throughout the year. So it's about a $20 million economic impact. 60,000 people come to this area over those 2 weekends. WGI themselves, their offices, which are based here in Dayton, they actually move their offices to the Besh Lounge. Their offices they use the suites, they forward their phone lines, everything to this building and run out of here for 3 weeks. So it's a major undertaking. And when you talk about relationships, they've been hosting their World Championships here for over 30 years, and we currently have them under contract through 2031. So, something's going right. We literally open up our doors, and between them and their staff and their volunteers, who are absolutely tremendous, it's amazing how well there's so many moving parts to that event and how well it runs.
You mentioned the moving parts, and we already highlighted what sort of the arena looks like and trying to change from the regular season to high school basketball state finals to the first four and then back. What are the moving pieces for WGI and the setup here at UD Arena?
Yeah, so the setup here, they have a huge vendor tent out in the parking lot that they set up. They set up warm-up tents in the outside, and then part of the parking lot is used as their staging. So it's an indoor event, but from the timeline when they originally check in the parking lot and all that, that's when their competition starts and their practice out there. I say it jokingly, it's the only indoor event that can be delayed by a weather delay, because it can happen. If there's lightning, we have to pause and do that and try to get people inside and then resume and try to get back on schedule with that. But the transformation of the building and people coming in all day. There's a re-entry with a wristband, so it's constant motion, and every 11 minutes is a new performance, and there's a quick 3-minute break and then another 11-minute performance, and that literally goes for 3 days from 8 in the morning to midnight.
There's got to be such great pride in being the start of March Madness in the first four, but also on the WGI front. I know this personally from cousins participating and living out west. they look at UD Arena as the place to be, and rightfully so, for what that means in the Super Bowl that is.
Absolutely. In the color guard, percussion, and winds event space, UD Arena is as iconic as Madison Square Garden. It is, everyone talks about it. Everyone talks about the ramp. Over the years, they've made T-shirts of the ramp and different things associated with just UD Arena, and it's amazing. I've run into people all over the country that I tell them I work at UD Arena, and they say, "Oh yeah, I performed there, 15 years ago, and the ramp and everything else." And it's just, that's kind of a cool feeling to meet people like that.
I had to pick up the hat last year, but Dayton Vacation is the thing, and I grabbed one in the merch tent. Scott, I want to wish you the best of luck. I know you're really busy. I appreciate you giving us a few minutes and our fans some insight of what will be the next few weeks.
Happy to do it.